Okay, we're doing it live. We're live. All right. Yeah, I know it's been a while since I've done a video. I think it's my third or fourth video in 5 years. I think I'm ready to be more consistent, or promise to be. But yeah, I'm going to get into right now my method or purpose why I like to learn languages and stuff. Well, I would say it's more for a literary approach. There's more reading involved, not necessarily to be conversational, but you can be. It can transfer easily over to be conversational. My biggest evidence for that would be, I would say, the Hebrew language. For 1,500, 2,000 years, I don't know. It's been pretty much not a living language. It's just been like a language used by people in the religion of Judaism. And the only resource they had was just reading their Torah and maybe some other few texts. They didn't have much material to read from. They would just read this material over and over again, repeatedly. And like late 1800s, someone decided to kind of make it a thing, to make it modern. So, because you're not going to find all words you need in the Torah for a modern society. So this guy had a plan to make it a living language. But we had World War I, we had World War II. And so after all that, that slowed it down a bit. But then in 1948, now you got this place where all these group of people speaking Hebrew in the streets, in the cafes, as if it's always been there, as a living language. And so you can see, just even reading, not even with much materials, you can use this particular method that I will expand on to become conversational, if that is your goal. Another reason I would say reading is really important, because when you start off, you're getting the best of what someone has to say when you read the material, because as you can see, before you write something down, there's some reflection, you think about it, and you make sure you're putting your best material forward. And even if you're free writing, it's going to be edited. So you're getting the best that language has to offer when reading material, than just starting right off the bat, trying just to learn phrases here and there and be conversational as quickly as you can be. Like I said, you can do that if you want, and if you don't like reading that much, well, you don't have to. With this approach, you can also do a lot of just repeating of the same phrases, and so there'll be many different types of practices you can do. Like, you got different levels, different registers of speaking. You got speeches. You can prepare for debates. Now, these are things you have to prepare for, and so they do come off as more polished than everyday conversations you have with your friends. Now, I'm not saying you can't have some banger conversations out there with your buddies, but it's the majority of the time it's not going to be your best work. So again, I would say that reading the best material out there is so once you get to conversation, that'll be like almost a minor thing. It won't even be that big of a deal. So I think you should start off with just material that you enjoy, even if it's kind of higher level. If there's something out there you're interested in reading and your target language, go ahead and do that. Now, when it comes to speaking, now I'm going to be this is translated from Cicero. He said, when talking about the eloquence of speaking, whether it's, what is it? Is it something you study? Is it an art? Is it a science? Is there particular exercises you can do? Is it a faculty that you're born with? And to do it very well, does it come from the most honest of causes and established by the best of reasons? Now, like I said, I translated the way it would sound in Latin. Now, I'm going to do my best, but it sounded something like this. When he said, this is what I translated from. He said, "Axi volumus, huius quae vocatur eloquentia, sive artis, sive studi, sive exercitationis cuiusdam, sive facultatis natura profectae, considerare principium, reperiemus, irex honestissimis causis natum, atque optimis, rationibus profectum." So now when I say it like that in Latin, I got all these ideas and concepts in like this little tune or melody that I can't even get out of my head, and it encompasses everything that I just said previously in English, what you heard before. So, but if you want to really get into the meaning of words, you have to really read to really understand the meaning, and you'll be able to discover things probably that no one's ever discovered before. Like for me, and as we're talking about Latin, it goes back really far. Let's take the phrase everyone's heard, carpe diem. People translate that as to seize the day. Now, you can translate it as that, and yes, people have used it like that. But to me, saying carpe diem doesn't mean anything. Doesn't sound like it means anything to me. I mean, if someone were to say something like carpe diem, now I can see how that means to seize the day. But then said in other ways, like carpe diem, it sounds, I would interpret it as meaning like, hey, you got to take it day by day. Hey, hey, or in another sense, hey, nothing but a thing, son, just another day, or forget about it. You can see how all those things kind of have the same meaning, the same sense. So, but it kind of reminds me, but if you look up carpe in the dictionary, a Latin dictionary, it'll be under capo, you'll see in the definition, it says nowhere there that it means to seize. It'll have definitions like to pluck, to grab, or even to enjoy. So as you can see that, if you take it literally, which a lot of times you do speak language being literal, you don't have to say I'm also speaking literally, but that definition to me does make sense, and I can see that playing out a certain way, giving the definition. I'll give you another example from Spanish. When I remember growing up, when your parents catch you doing something but kind of playing around, like, oh, I caught you, they'll say, te pesqué. Pesqué coming from the Spanish word pescar, which kind of to me sounds like the Spanish word pescado, which translates to fish. And the reason I bring that up, going back to the Latin, if you look at the word carpe, it looks like the word carp, which is a type of fish. So, I mean, I don't think anyone's ever made that correlation before. I think it's really interesting. And I guess I would like to copyright that if I can. But anyway, it's recorded. I'm the first to say it if no one's ever said it before. But yeah, when speaking your target language, there's going to be a lot of, you're not just reading, you're going to have to be saying it out loud too, speaking it to yourself. And sometimes you're going to have to read it in silence. And there's going to be stuff that doesn't really flow or seems kind of clunky. Like if you do look up a word, like you can start off with Google Translate. It's fine to start off with Google Translate. It'll be better with some languages more than others. For French and Spanish, it's pretty good. But you will come across words that will seem like out of place. But the less you know of the language, the more of your imagination you have to use to figure out the feel of what the person is trying to say. Like, I'm not going to translate this. I'll just put it at the bottom, and you can put it in Google Translate yourself and see how you interpret what this guy is saying. But it was, I was in Montreal, Canada. I was in the bookstore. They're French books. I went to go buy a book. I got the book 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Gareía Márquez, but it was in French. I have the English version at home, and I have the Spanish edition on my Kindle. And just opening up, just reading the foreword, the first sentence, the first paragraph, I was kind of taken aback. I was wondering, I had to put it in Google Translate to see if it matched kind of with my definition. And yeah, I had to use a little bit of my imagination to feel what it is that they were trying to say. It seemed kind of grand, but in French, I guess it seemed kind of just as a matter of fact. And what he said, again, I'll put it underneath so you can see what he wrote. You can put it in Google Translate yourself. He said, "S'il est vrai que tout le monde sait véritable, depuis Bal-zac, faire concours sur l'état civil, en inventant un univers des meilleurs tyranniques vers capissure sadique de personnages à Salmacie, décide sur le ton de divinité, Gabriel Gareía Márquez, fasciné par l'absolu de l'écriture et la puissance du verbe, en modelant dans la tohu-bohu génisaque, Cent Ans de solitude. Ce velu créateur, en majuscule en majesté, met souvent dans le monde inscrit dans l'histoire." Now, the word that threw me off when I read that was the word majuscule, which you put it in Google Translate, and it translates to capital letters, but you know that's not what he's saying, so just using a little bit of imagination, you know he means like probably talking about something grand or grandeur of some sort. So, but if you have problems understanding or feeling that what you're saying really means the thing that you're saying, sometimes you might have to read, let's say for English is my first language, read it in English real quick, a small phrase, and then automatically say it in French. Yeah, your rhythm and melody will be kind of off, and but once you feel that is what you're saying, then you can adjust yourself to imitate native speakers as the best you can by watching movies, reading, following an audiobook through, following in the target language that you're using. And that'll help you work out any kinks that make you sound like it's yours, that you sound kind of not native. And it has happened. I mean, probably even native people won't know why it is you sound kind of off, but eventually that will disappear. And even if you got like a linguistics expert who's an expert in phonetics, he could probably point out to you what it is that's making you sound not native, but you probably still, even after he points it out, not really see the difference. That just comes through practice, hearing native speakers speak more often than not, and that should solve that problem. Books in general, read it from one language to the next, you're gonna get a different essence from reading it from one to the other. Like I read the Little Prince, La Petite Prince in French, and in French, it was an enduring, nice read. It's kind of like a children's book, not really, I think. But in English, when I read it, it sounded kind of silly. But it still gave me the feel of it's an endearing, nice little story. It has its own little philosophical take. You can still get all that, but you will get a different feeling from reading from one language to the other. That should end this video, and later videos, I'll be covering over more of the techniques I use for my literary introspective method of helping you acquire your target language as I have done with mine. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time. A bientôt. Ilex honestissimis causis natum, atque optimis, rationibus, profectum. Was that too much? I think that was a little bit too much.